Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is not my normal setup. I'm currently sitting at my desk because I'm a little bit too tired to set up my whole setup on my bookshelf, but at least you're getting a video. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. My energy levels have been very low recently, therefore I haven't really had the urge to film that much, but I am going to be filming a quick and simple mid-month wrap-up as it is, as I'm filming it, the 14th. And I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I will include a 7th that I will be finishing tonight. But since the 14th, well, you'll be seeing this on the 16th, right? Yeah. Figured do a little mid-month wrap-up. So the first book that I read, I technically started it in February and finished it in March, is Tethered by Angelina Steffort, which is the 4th and final book in the Breath of Fate series. The first book is Torn, where essentially we follow Lanny Dawson, who finds out that she is a Lightbringer, and a Lightbringer is essentially somebody who can take the souls of the dead to heaven, and then on the other hand there are Shadowbringers, which take the soul of the dead to hell or purgatory. And the first book is essentially Lanny discovering that she's a Lightbringer, learning her powers and all of that, and then as the series go on, we end up learning more. Like, we find out that there are gatekeepers that are half Shadowbringer, half Lightbringer. We end up meeting the first Shadowbringer, who's like the creator of all Shadowbringers. And we just learn more about the world, and this 4th and final book I gave 4 stars because it was a really good conclusion, just the ending was a little bit rushed. And I genuinely love these characters. Like, I think I will always remember the 2 main characters of Lanny and Cass, because they just like immediately like dug their way into my heart from the first book, honestly. So yeah. The second book I read was Nosedive by Torri, and this is a fast-paced like paranormal romance where essentially we follow Charlie, who is a witch who has left her coven, and Cam, who is a dragon shifter who has also left his family for political reasons, and the 2 of them meet while hiking, and Charlie ends up getting injured, and then the 2 of them end up having a one-night stand, or what was supposed to be a one-night stand, but then turns out into more, and it is very insta-lovey. It is very, like, very smutty, but I ended up giving it 4 stars because even though it's very insta-love, which is something that I'm either hit or miss with, this one was a hit, and I loved it. It was also a really quick read because it was only like 250 pages, and I don't really think I have any other strong opinions on it. I like the characters. I do wish there was a little bit more world development, but this was like a really, really good read, and it was a really good palate cleanser to like just have a quick like paranormal romance in between some other reads. And then I also finished Finale by Stephanie Garber, which is the 3rd and final book in the Carvel trilogy, and this I gave 5 stars. I read this both physically and audiobook, therefore it's being counted as an audiobook for my stats. But this, I really enjoyed it. I'm not really going to explain much because, well, the first book's description isn't accurate to this, but essentially we have these 2 sisters who, in the first book, they go to this elaborate event / performance of Carvel, and things happen, and then we're traveling to a different location to have another Carvel, and then now we're dealing with the aftermath. There also are there are these fates that are freed, and there are these fated objects and fated locations, and it all just magically is woven together to form this beautiful story. And this is my favorite book in the series. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but I just had so much fun reading this. Listening to it especially. I am a little bit mad that I just read this book, like audiobook, and not the whole series. But I am really, really, really excited to read the like is it a spin-off? It's like kind of a companion series. The Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. It takes place, I think after this, and we're following other characters, but it's in the same world, and we follow one of the same characters. Wouldn't be characters because it's only one character, so it's not plural. But we follow one of the characters from this. Well, I don't know if we follow him or if he's just like in it. But I'm very, very excited to read that, and I will, fingers crossed, be reading it in April if a buddy read goes through, because I also buddy read this entire series with a few people, and I think that added to my experience and my love of this series. The next 3 books I'm going to talk about together because they are book 1, 2, and 3 in a series, and that being Groupie by C.M. Stunich, Rhodey by C.M. Stunich, and Moxie by C.M. Stunich. This is a trilogy. It is a like rock star romance reverse harem. So essentially we follow Lilith, who ends up joining the band Beauty and Lies on their like world tour as kind of as like a groupie type thing. And it's just like, it's a reverse harem romance, one girl, 5 guys, and it's just the dynamic between them all of their backstories, and all their backstories are very tragic, and it's just like, I just binged through this series in like less than a week because it was just so good. I like have loved everything that I've read by C.M. Stunich, and honestly I think I would maybe call her one of my favorite like reverse harem authors, because that's pretty much all she writes. I'm trying to think of other things that I like about this series. I just like how a lot of the times in like reverse harems, there's like each guy always serves a specific role and all of that, but in this it kind of was more of like they all just meshed together well. And I just love the dynamics between all the characters and the way that like no 2 characters' dynamics are the same, because again, in reverse harems you can kind of see that trope of like, okay, those 2 characters' dynamic are this, those 2 characters' dynamic are this, but I didn't really find those tropes in this, and I really enjoyed that. And then the final book I will be talking about in this video is one that I'm currently reading, but it's a reread, therefore I know my rating isn't going to change. And then I also just feel like talking about it, is The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I will be giving this 5 stars because that's what I gave it the first time, and that's what I'm going to be giving it this time. And this is the 3rd book in the Blood and Ash series. And I'm not really going to explain that because the first book is wildly different from the 3rd. Like literally I cannot tell you a single thing from the 3rd book without spoiling the 1st book very, very, very much. But I just love this book. I love this world. I genuinely think that the Blood and Ash series is one of my favorite series, if not my favorite series. I just love the character dynamics and just the little snarky bits, and a lot of people hate how it's written in the way that it's like a lot of the times is, okay, we'll be at this location, we'll ask questions, then we'll travel to this new location, maybe we'll have something happen while we're traveling, and then we'll go to another location, reveal more information. I like that. I like how, not that the series holds your hand while you're going through it, because there are a lot of things that you don't understand, but for some of the simple things, it kind of just holds your hand and like guides you through the story. And I like that in this book, of how they'll be like, oh, the main character of Poppy will be like, I have questions, and then somebody will answer them, because it's always the questions that I have that she's asking. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. This was very quick, very simple. I didn't really have that many thoughts on all these books because, well, one of them was a reread, a lot of them were just 4 stars. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what books you have read in March so far, or what books you're planning on reading in the rest of March, or just leave anything bookish in the comments below. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!